What question text to use and why? Sentence number 1. Don't be carried away by the words, rather feel them. The answer is, don't be carried away by the words, rather feel them, will you? It's because this is a negative imperative. So the question tag for it will be will you. Sentence number 2. All atoms create waves. The answer is, all atoms create waves, don't they? It's because the subject all atoms is a plural noun phrase and its pronoun is they, while create has the auxiliary verb do, which becomes don't. Sentence number 3. You must be the change to see the world change. The answer is, you must be the change to see the world change, mustn't you? It's because the pronoun subject you remains the same and must becomes mustn't. Sentence number 4. Son, go back to your guru and ask him to teach you about the One. The answer is, son, go back to your guru and ask him to teach you about the One, will you? It's because this is an imperative sentence, as son with a comma has been used for addressing the listener, and so, like all imperative sentences, it will have will you as its question tag. Sentence number 5. Everyone was programmed during the first 7 years after birth. The answer is, everyone was programmed during the first 7 years after birth, weren't they? It's because everyone is singular, but its pronoun is they, which is plural, and accordingly the auxiliary verb was also gets changed into weren't in the question tag. Sentence number 6. About 50 trillion cells make our body. The answer is, about 50 trillion cells make our body, don't they? It's because the subject about 50 trillion cells is a plural noun whose pronoun is they, and the verb make has the auxiliary verb do that becomes don't. Sentence number 7. One is able to deceive only oneself. The answer is, one is able to deceive only oneself, aren't they? It's because the pronoun for the subject one is they, so the auxiliary verb is gets changed into aren't in the question tag. Sentence number 8. Everything is temporary. The answer is, everything is temporary, isn't it? It's because the pronoun for everything is it, and is becomes isn't. Sentence number 9. We hardly live in a perfect world. The answer is, We hardly live in a perfect world, do we? It's because the subject is we, which is a pronoun, so there's no problem about it. The verb live has the auxiliary verb to in it. It should be don't, but because hardly makes the sentence negative, we use do. Sentence number 10. He cut down the tree without a second thought. The answer is, he cut down the tree without a second thought, didn't he? He is he in the question tag because it's a pronoun, and cut, being its past form, has the auxiliary verb did, which becomes didn't. Sentence number 11. They'd come early. The answer is, they'd come early, wouldn't they? It's because we assume come to be in its base form V1, and so the auxiliary verb would becomes wouldn't. Sentence number 12. They'd come early. The answer is, they'd come early, hadn't they? It's because we assume come to be in its past participle V3 form, and so the auxiliary verb had becomes hadn't. Sentence number 13. She'd better learn about how the mind works. The answer is, she'd better learn about how the mind works, hadn't she? It's because the subject she, being a pronoun, remains she, while the auxiliary verb had becomes hadn't. Sentence number 14. He is eating his lunch. The answer is, he is eating his lunch, isn't he? It's because eating, being present participle PING, the auxiliary verb is becomes isn't in the question tag. Sentence number 15. He has already had his meal. The answer is, he's already had his meal, hasn't he? It's because he, being a pronoun, we use the same, and had is the past participle of have. The auxiliary verb has becomes hasn't in the question tags. Sentence number 16. He's a mystic in his own way. The answer is, he's a mystic in his own way, isn't he? It's because he, being a pronoun, it's same in the question tag, and since there is no verb in past participle form, apostrophe s can't be has, but is, which becomes isn't. Sentence number 17. I have bread and tea for breakfast. The answer is, I have bread and tea for breakfast, don't I? It's because the subject I, being a pronoun, becomes I in the question tag, and have, being the main verb in its present simple, has in it the auxiliary verb do, which becomes don't. Sentence number 18. We have just had a message from him. The answer is, we have just had a message from him, haven't we? It's because we being a pronoun becomes we in the question tag. And since had is the past participle V3, have in this sentence, the auxiliary verb of had becomes haven't.